Hello student, today we will discuss some important point of the topic gravitation. It is unit 5th of 11th standard Maharashtra State Board syllabus. So let us start gravitation. So in this chapter we came across very important terms. That term should we understand. First term is gravity. Remember, gravity, it is acceleration produced by gravitational force. What is this gravity? Gravity is acceleration produced by gravitational force inside gravitational field. So whenever we consider any matter, that matter is surrounded by a particular field where another matter will experience either force of attraction or repulsion. That field is called as gravitational field. So that we will study later on, Newton's law of gravitation. Suppose this is particular mass m. Now surrounded to this mass, its own influence space is produced. A particular region is produced where another matter, this is another matter, this is m1, m2. So that m2 will experience force of attraction in this region. So this region, this particular field, it is called as gravitational field. And inside the gravitational field, always a central force acts. That central force is gravitational force acting along the radius vector towards the center. This force is called as central force. The force which is always acting towards origin of, we have considered coordinate system. Suppose this is origin of coordinate system. Then the force acting on this body, it is always towards the origin. This type of force is called as central force. And gravitational force, it is central force. So the second important aspect of this gravitation chapter, it is gravitational field. So this is field, gravitational field, and inside the field particular central force act in between any two masses, that is called gravitational force. Gravitational force. So various scientists contribute to explain the point of view of gravitation. Indian scientist Aryabhatta, then Aristotle, Galileo, then Kepler. So all these scientists tries to explain the nature of gravity and gravitational force. So first point, now we will study Kepler's law of gravitation. These are the important laws. Kepler, laws of gravitation. I have given you idea about field, gravitational field. Then inside the gravitational field there is a particular central force. That central force is called as gravitational force, and due to the influence of gravitational force, a particular acceleration is developed which is same in all bodies. That acceleration is called as gravitational acceleration or acceleration due to gravity, denoted by small g. Now we will see three important laws of Kepler, and Kepler developed these laws on the basis of very huge data which is collected by another scientist whose name is Tycho Brahe. So what are the laws of gravitational given by Kepler? That one by one we will study. So first law, it is called as law of orbit. Law of orbit. According to Kepler, Kepler observed the motion of planets, and he concluded that data in a particular systematic way in the form of laws. So all these laws are related to planetary motion, therefore they are also called as Kepler's laws of planetary motion. So this first law is law of orbit. Law of orbit. According to Kepler, every planet revolves around sun in elliptical orbit, considering sun as one of the foci. That means, suppose this is planet and this planet is revolving around sun. Remember, according to Kepler, the orbit is not circular. The orbit is elliptical orbit. Elliptical orbit. Now, see very carefully the geometry of ellipse. Ellipse having two axes. One is major axis, another is minor axis. The axis having greater length, that is called as major axis. So this is having greater length. Suppose this is x-axis and this x-axis is also called as major axis, and the axis having shorter length, that is called as minor axis. So here this is y-axis. This y-axis is also called as minor axis, and the point where major axis and minor axis intersect each other, that point in circle we consider it as a center, but here we have to consider foci. And beside this there are again 2 points, 2 different foci which are present in ellipse. One is towards negative major axis, other is towards positive major axis. So suppose this is S and this is S1, and this is planet, position of planet. This planet is moving along this elliptical orbit. When sun is at this position, remember these are 2 foci. So when sun is at this position, the closest distance is this between planet and sun. So this point is called as Phelion point, and the largest distance is this one. This is called as aphelion. This is Phelion, this is aphelion. These are the 2 different points. The farthest point is called as aphelion and the closest point is called as Phelion. Now during its motion, what about the radius? So remember here, the major axis, the length of major axis we represent it by twice a, and the length of minor axis we represent it by twice b. So half of the major axis, it becomes semi major axis. So this distance is semi major axis and this distance is semi minor axis. This one is semi minor axis. And if we are going to consider the radius, so as the distances, as the position of this planet varies, the distance is no longer remains constant. So while considering the radius, we have to consider the average distance, that is average radius, it becomes a plus b by 2. So this is the first law of orbit, elliptical orbit, that we have explained. Now move towards second law. Second law. That law is called as law of area. Law of area. So according to Kepler, each and every planet, when it revolves in elliptical orbit, it swept out equal area in equal time interval. That means when This is the elliptical motion of orbit, elliptical motion of planet around the sun. Suppose this is time interval in which it swept out certain distance. So you will observe the area which is swept by planet, area swept by planet in the same time interval. Suppose time interval is del t. So in this time interval, this is the area swept by planet, and in the same time interval here, this is the area swept by planet. So these areas are equal according to this law of area. So this law, it is also a very good consequences of law of angular momentum. Means this law, ultimately we state that the angular momentum remains constant during the elliptical motion of planet around the sun. So how one can prove it? So it is very important. I have told you that what is the statement for law of area? Each and every planet swept out equal area in equal time interval. That is the important statement, law of area. So from this statement we have to prove that the angular momentum of planet remains constant during its elliptical motion. That is our result. So how one can prove it? Del A, that is the area swept by planet. Suppose vector r, it is position vector. This is the first position of planet, this is second position. This change in position occurs in time interval del t, and the planet is moving with certain velocity, suppose vector v. Now in time del t, that planet travels from this point to this point towards aphelion side. If we consider perihelion side, in this side perihelion side, so in perihelion side what happens? In the same time interval, that planet travels in between these two positions. So remember one important thing here. Whatever may be the velocity here at aphelion point, that velocity will not remain same in perihelion point. Why? Because while traveling through this area, the planet has to cover more area towards this side, and for that purpose it will take more speed. That means here the velocity of planet increases and here the velocity of planet decreases. That means when the planet is far away, aphelion point, far away from sun, it moves with shorter speed, less speed, velocity is less. And when the planet is near the sun, it moves with greater speed. Why greater speed? Because it have to cover more area in less time interval. Therefore it take more speed. This is very important point. So the area is nothing but half into base into height, base r. And what will be the height of this triangle? Height of triangle is nothing but v into del t, velocity into time. So this is v, vector v into del t, because velocity into time is nothing but distance, and that distance is the height of this triangle. So move this del t towards this side, del A by del t 1 by 2 vector r into vector v. Suppose this is equation 1. Now we know that planet is moving with velocity v and that planet having particular mass m. The product of mass and velocity is nothing but linear momentum. So this linear momentum, which is vector quantity, it is product of mass and velocity, m into v. Therefore, what we get? Vector v is equal to vector p upon m. Substitute this value in equation 1. What do we get? Del A by del T 1 by 2 vector r, v is nothing but vector p by m. So del A by del T 1 by 2 m, and here vector r into vector p. This is very important physical quantity that I am stating about it. Angular momentum. Remember, angular momentum is nothing but moment of linear momentum. Whenever any body is moving about axis, then it possesses angular momentum. And how angular momentum is produced? Angular momentum is nothing but product of length of this arm, that is distance from axis, and p. Whatever momentum that body possesses, multiplied by the distance from axis, it is called as angular momentum. So r into p, it becomes angular momentum. So final step we get del A by del T 1 by 2 m. Here we get vector L, angular momentum. This is equation 2. And obviously in the statement of law of area, what we have stated? The planet swept out equal area in equal time interval. That means this ratio del A by del T, it always remains constant. So if del A by del T remains constant, now what is our statement? Vector L upon twice m, it remains constant. Third law of Kepler's, it is law of period. Law of period. According to this law, the square of period of any planet during its elliptical motion, it is directly proportional to cube of radius of elliptical orbit. T square is directly proportional to r cube. That is called as law of period. That means whenever the planet is revolving, the time required to complete its one revolution around the sun in elliptical orbit, that time is period, and we are relating this period with r, average radius of this elliptical orbit. So T square is directly proportional to r cube. So in problem there may be condition like this. If suppose T1 is time period for the distance r1, and if that distance changes, so what will be the new period? So simply we have to take the ratio T1 square upon T2 square is equal to, constant get cancelled, r1 cube upon r2 cube. This is the important result that we have to use in problem.